Hey guys, I'm back. Yes, it's me, Thunderbolt. And if you are a regular viewer of this channel, around the time this video comes out, you must have noticed that these three videos, the ones that I've underlined, the Dragon Ball Super Manga Power Levels 2, 3 and 4 have been deleted from my channel. Okay, and I have good reasons for deleting the channel. So the first reason being that the Super Saiyan God multiplier that I had come out with in the God of Destruction Beerus Saga was 1500 to base, and it was the least I could lowball it to, right? So I was pretty happy with that. But we have to come to terms with the fact that that multiplier in itself was also just headcanon, like it was mostly a guess, right? And then we stacked Super Saiyan on top of that to make Super Saiyan Blue, so we made it 50 times the already 1500 to base multiplier. So Super Saiyan Blue's multiplier became 75,000. But then if you look at Whis' statement saying that Super Saiyan God Goku was stronger than less than 10% of Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta's power, that would mean that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta was at 1.6%. Like it was nowhere close to 10%, right? And I know lore wise, theoretically, it makes sense that Super Saiyan Blue is the Super Saiyan version of Super Saiyan God, right? But it still seemed too much to me. 75,000 seemed too much to me. I don't know, it kept bothering me. That's reason number one. Reason number two, Golden Frieza. So I said that the Golden Frieza transformation was a 50 times multiplier, and that also was totally 100% a guess. Basically, the guess was that if Frieza was at 22.4% of his power, which was likely, then his golden form would be a 50 times multiplier. But again, the range was 18.25 and 95, right? It's like a very large range, and we just stuck to 22.4 because 50 would seem convenient as the golden form was made to mock the Super Saiyan. But that also like was in the back of my mind, like it could be any percentage really, and that way the multiplier would also be different. And third, and the main reason why I had to delete those videos is because of this panel right here. Over here, I, Thunderbolt, made a calculation mistake. Yes, this is in the Goku Black Arc Future Trunks Saga. We know that the Super Saiyan 2 upgraded form, yes, there is an upgraded form to Super Saiyan 2. It is in the Dragon Ball Super manga. We had spoken about it. If you're a new watcher, well, the more you know, right? So yeah, so the upgraded Super Saiyan 2 transformation is a 3 times multiplier on top of Super Saiyan 2. But over here, as you can see, I made Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta upgraded only 2 times stronger. I should have multiplied this number by 3 and not by 2. And because of that, Goku Black's power got affected. Because of that, Goku's power got affected. Because of that, Zamasu's power got affected, and so on and so forth. And it basically ruined the power scale from this point onwards. The moment I found out that I've made this calculation error, I went all the way back to all my other videos, went through every single slide one by one just to ensure that my calculations are correct, and they are. This is the only place where I made a mistake. So initially I was like, okay, so I have to delete Goku Black and I have to delete Tournament of Power, right? But because the Golden Frieza and Super Saiyan Blue thing was still in the back of my mind, I realized that the only way I can really figure out what the multipliers for both of them, what the actual multipliers or the closest multipliers for both of them are, would be from the Resurrection F saga. But unfortunately, the Resurrection F saga is not in the manga, right? It is mentioned in the manga, like, those events took place, but we don't know the full details as to what exactly happened. But regardless, I decided, what, we have to start from Resurrection F. So I will delete Universe 6, I'll delete Future Trunks, and I'll delete Tournament of Power, and I will start with Resurrection F, which takes place right after God of Destruction Saga. So these are the God of Destruction Beerus Saga final base power levels that we found out. And these power levels are all scaled down, right? These are not the real power levels. The real power levels of the top 5 are revealed at the end of each part. And we scaled them down by making Goten's power level equal to 1. So Goten had a power level of 15 billion something, and we scaled that down to 1. And that's how we got these smaller numbers. This is to make calculations easier, of course. So yeah, these are the God of Destruction Beerus Saga top 5, and these are the God of Destruction Beerus Saga top 5 real power levels. Super Saiyan God Goku was at 10.9 trillion. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Dragon Ball Z Power Scale Part 2 Resurrection F Saga. And yes, I have said Z for a reason and not Super. You will see. So now there are two versions of Resurrection F. One is the movie, which is a Dragon Ball Z movie, Resurrection F, and the other is the anime. So I was wondering which out of those two is the one that is closer to the manga, and we can figure this out with the help of Dragon Ball Super Broly, the movie. So as you can see here, in the Broly movie, Frieza does not know what fusion is, and Gogeta tells him, "You've been dead for a long time, so you wouldn't know." But in the anime, Frieza saw Gotenks and he knew exactly what fusion was. And we also know that when Toriyama made the Broly movie, he only took references from the manga. He did not watch the anime. He didn't go through the anime. He only stuck to what he knew from the manga, right? And that's why, according to him, this whole Gotenks scene never happened, right? So in his brain, he thinks that Frieza never saw fusion. So technically, the Broly movie is mainly canon to the manga, more than the anime. And I'm saying mainly because while this scene does contradict the anime, this panel in the manga contradicts the movie. Because you can see Super Saiyan Broly here fighting Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta in broad daylight, not in a darkened, a lava landscape. So the ice has either not broken here. So yeah, in the manga, they fought Broly together before the ground split up, or maybe the ground never split up in the manga events. So one can say that the Broly movie is both canon to the manga as well as the anime. So this scene is canon to the manga, but the rest of the movie is canon to the anime. It's a little complicated, but just, tell yourself that the movie is canon to both the anime and the manga based on whichever scene you focus on. So if the Broly movie is mainly canon to the manga, and I'm considering the Super Anime Frieza to not be canon to the Broly movie Frieza, which Frieza is canon to the Broly movie? Lo and behold, we have Resurrection F movie. There is no Gotenks in the Resurrection F movie. Absolutely no Gotenks. Nada. Okay? Let me just... Yeah. Oh, there you go. So there is no Gotenks in the Resurrection F movie. So most probably, the Resurrection F movie is canon to the Broly movie, which is mainly, in quotes, mainly canon to the manga, right? But you can also say that the Resurrection F movie is canon to the Battle of the Gods movie. So similar to how the Broly movie is canon to both the Dragon Ball Super anime as well as the Dragon Ball Super manga, we can say that the Resurrection F movie is also canon to the Dragon Ball Super manga as well as the Battle of the Gods movie. Okay, it's weird. Basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at all the different media I have and I'm just choosing which media fits the most in this particular continuity or in this particular timeline. So basically in the Dragon Ball Super manga continuity, the events of the Resurrection F movie make more sense than the events of the Dragon Ball Super anime. And it also helps us that the Resurrection F movie has its own one-shot manga of 3 chapters. And now we get to the meaty part. So, in that manga, we have a form called Saiyan Beyond God. And Saiyan Beyond God is also mentioned in the pamphlet over here. This is the pamphlet that was given to people who went to the theaters to watch the Resurrection F movie. So in the panel as well as in the manga, there's a thing called Saiyan Beyond God, and it's explained as a Saiyan who is able to tap into the power of Super Saiyan God. So if we are to include this form in our Dragon Ball Super manga power scale, it changes a few things and it makes things a lot more interesting. And I also think it makes things a lot more accurate, actually, weirdly enough. You shall see. Okay, so obviously we'll be using domination butterflies as well. If you're not a regular viewer of this channel, what this basically means is if you are 1.25 times stronger than your opponent, you can start to overwhelm them. Similarly, if you are 2 times stronger, you can tank their attacks unhurt, so on and so forth. And as mentioned before, all the powers are scaled down. So Goten at the start of Super was 15 million. And his power scaled down to 1. Okay, so if you look at the movie manga, we know that Goku right now is 1.25 times stronger than Vegeta because Whis himself states that you seem to always be lagging 1 step behind Goku. and Vegeta agrees, because right now Goku is 1.25 times stronger than Vegeta. But we know that Vegeta was also training, so let's give Vegeta a 1.25 times boost. That would bring his power to 1373.75, and Goku is 1.25 times stronger than that, so Goku's power is 1717, which means in the 10 or so months between the God of Destruction Beerus Saga and the Resurrection F Saga, Goku became 3.7 times stronger, which I think is a fair growth. Now, let's talk about Saiyan Beyond God. So, Saiyan Beyond God, as mentioned before, is a form that allows a Saiyan to tap into the power of a Super Saiyan God. So, theoretically, Saiyan Beyond God should be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 but weaker than Super Saiyan God. We know that Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 was a 2 times boost, Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 was a 3 times boost, and Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan God was a 5 times boost, not a 4 times boost. So it is very likely that Saiyan Beyond God is a 4 times boost to Super Saiyan 3. That means Super Saiyan God is 1.25 times stronger than Saiyan Beyond God. That also means Saiyan Beyond God is a 1200 times multiplier to base. But then if this is the case, right, then why don't they use this form more often? Why is this the only time we've seen them use it? I think it's because this form is not suited for combat. This form only exists to allow the user to get used to God Ki, to allow the user to actually train their body to flow God Ki better. So what this actually means is Saiyan Beyond God is not even a transformation. It's not even a form. It is just a technique of sorts, right? More than a technique, it's like a training method. It's just you forcing your mortal body to use God Ki, right? And the difference between a Super Saiyan God and Saiyan Beyond God is that Super Saiyan God is a transformation that allows the body to use God Ki normally and freely, while Saiyan Beyond God is just your base form trying to master the flow of God Ki. So one good theory I have is that how Super Saiyan Blue really exhausts the user unless you've perfected it. So yeah, the way to perfect Super Saiyan Blue is to train in Saiyan Beyond God, because that's why we kept telling them to train in their base forms. We kept telling them that they have to stay in their base forms if they want to master their God forms. So what Whis was trying to tell them is that you have to be in Saiyan Beyond God. You have to let your mortal body, learn how to use God Ki. Only then those transformations will be effective. That is what Saiyan Beyond God is, which is why it is not a form suitable for combat. Heck, it's not even a form at all. But we know that Goku used this in the Resurrection F movie, and we know that it's stronger than Super Saiyan 3. So it is a 4 times boost to Super Saiyan 3. Okay, so now let's get to Frieza. In order to make Frieza as weak as possible, we have to assume that he is at 95% of his power, right? So we know that when the Frieza species go up to 100%, they go into that bulky form of theirs, right? But here we can see that Frost was not in his bulky form. And in our previous Universe 6 tournament calculations, we had found out that Frost was actually using 95% of his power against Super Saiyan Goku. The reason why I've put this panel up is because this was before the calculation error that I made, so it doesn't really change the fact that Frost was using 95% of his power. So we know that when you are using 95% of your power, you are still in your normal form. When you charge up to 100%, that is when you go into your bulky form. And in the Resurrection F movie, Frieza never went into his bulky form, so let's just assume that Frieza was at 95%. So we know that Saiyan Beyond God Goku is 1200 times his base form, which gets his power to be around 2 million. We also know that Saiyan Beyond God Goku was 1.75 times stronger than Frieza in this fight, because he did not let Frieza hit him even once, right? But he was dodging and he was blocking all of Frieza's attacks. So he did not want to get hit by Frieza because he could not tank his attacks. But he was also strong enough to dominate Frieza so much that Frieza could not land a blow on him. So making Saiyan Beyond God Goku 1.75 times stronger than Frieza makes perfect sense, as it is high-end domination. So, since we have agreed that Frieza is at 95%, we know that Frieza's power at 95% is Saiyan Beyond God Goku's power divided by 1.75. That brings his power to be 1.1 million. That means a theoretical 100% bulked up Frieza would be 1.2 million. So this means that Frieza became 539,274 times stronger in at least 47 years since his first canonical appearance on planet Vegeta. Because we know that Frieza never trained, and the first time we ever saw him, like the earliest we've seen him in the timeline, was 47 years ago on planet Vegeta. So we can assume that, if he trained for those 47 years, he would become 539,274 times stronger. It is a horrible number. It is the highest number we've seen so far. It is even worse than the Cell Saga. Okay, because using Cell Saga's worst power up in 47 years, Frieza should have only become 5,278 times stronger, not 539,000. Okay, this is too crazy. So, the only way I can make this make sense is that Frieza got back his latent potential first through his mental training in Hell, right? Which made him 5,278 times stronger. And then when he was brought back to life, he became 102 times stronger on top of that in his physical training after he was revived. So 5,000 into 100 is 500,000. So that's close to this. That's like the only way I can explain it. I know it sounds like bullshit. I know it sounds like a stretch, but it's the only way we can explain how Frieza became this strong. Okay, first he got back his potential, and in getting back his potential, he became 5,278 times stronger. Then he actually began his training, and his training in those 4-5 months made him 102 times stronger. Now let's get to Super Saiyan Blue. So I had a nitpick that Super Saiyan Blue having a multiplier of 75,000 was too high, right? This is because I made Super Saiyan Blue the Super Saiyan version of Super Saiyan God. But now I firmly believe that Super Saiyan Blue is actually the Super Saiyan version of Saiyan Beyond God. It is not the Super Saiyan version of Super Saiyan God. Because remember what Goku says. Goku says, I got a taste of something called Super Saiyan God, and then I learned how to tap into that power on my own. And this is the Super Saiyan version of that. So Super Saiyan Blue is the Super Saiyan version of the power that Goku learned to tap into on his own. That power that he learned how to tap into on his own is Saiyan Beyond God, right? So Super Saiyan Blue is the Super Saiyan version of Saiyan Beyond God, which means Super Saiyan Blue is actually 50 times Saiyan Beyond God, not Super Saiyan God. I've made a color error here. Let me just quickly change that. Yeah, there we go. So that brings Super Saiyan Blue's multiplier to be 60,000 times 2 base, not 75,000. And that actually makes more sense. And that is also in line with why Super Saiyan God Goku was stronger than less than 10% Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. So Super Saiyan Blue Goku has a power level of 103 million in this movie. Similarly, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta has a power level of 82.4 million in this movie. And this statement by Vegeta also actually makes sense. Vegeta tells Frieza, I too can become a legendary Super Saiyan. He never said, I too can become Super Saiyan Blue or I too can become a god. He just said, I too can become a legendary Super Saiyan. Because that's exactly what this is. Basically, this is Super Saiyan, right? They were just using Saiyan Beyond God, which was base, and they just transformed into Super Saiyan and the color became blue. That is what Super Saiyan Blue is, okay? It makes sense. Whew. Okay, now, Golden Frieza and Super Saiyan Blue Goku started fighting, and Golden Frieza says, it seems like this shall be quite the close match, wouldn't you say? And we know that Golden Frieza power-wise is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So let's just say that Golden Frieza is 1.25 times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku. But Goku says that Golden Frieza's weakness is that the transformation wears him out pretty fast. So we know that the blue form also wears down the user very fast, right? So what this basically means is that the golden form loses power more rapidly compared to the Super Saiyan Blue form. So Golden Frieza is 1.25 times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but loses power faster. That means if Golden Frieza is 1.25 times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku's power, Golden Frieza's power comes out to be 128.7 billion. That means Golden Frieza is 104 times stronger than 100% Frieza's bulked up form. And for the sake of convenience, I'm just gonna lowball 104 to 100. Golden Frieza is a 100 times multiplier to Frieza's 100% bulked up form, which makes really good sense. We finally have a proper multiplier for the golden form, and we have a much more acceptable multiplier for Super Saiyan Blue. And now that we have these two numbers, we can move on to Universe 6, we can make the changes, we can move on to Goku Black, we can make the changes as well as fix any mistakes, calculation errors that we made in the past, and also do the same for Tournament of Power. We will have numbers that are way more accurate. We will have a power scale that will make way more sense than what I was doing in the past. So which is exactly why I deleted those 3 videos, and I will be remaking those 3 videos after this one comes out. So let's get to the infamous scene where Goku lost to a laser gun, right? So I think what happened is, since both transformations are losing a lot of power, at this point Golden Frieza was weaker than Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So let's just say that Golden Frieza was only at 0.1% of his power. That means he had a power level of 128,725, while Super Saiyan Blue Goku was 0.2% of his power, which means his power was 206,040. And we also know that he was distracted. So when you're distracted, your power level goes down by 1.25, as seen in the Cell Saga. You can go watch that video. So that means distracted Goku's power level was 164,832. Still stronger than Golden Frieza, which makes sense, but weak enough for a gun to shoot him. So I actually did the math, and I found out that this power, if you find out the real power level, is somewhere in the trillions, right? And we know that if androids from 14 years ago could emit power in the tens of billions, then it makes sense that 14 years later, especially space aliens with advanced technology can have weapons that can do damage in the trillions. So this makes sense to me. It's acceptable. I know it should not be acceptable, and I would have loved it if it was not. I'm glad that the anime changed it, but since the movie is more canon to the manga, we have to believe this is what happened. Alright guys, let's move to the Resurrection F Saga final base power levels. We have Frieza 95% at 1.1 million, Goku at 1717, Vegeta at 1373.75. Remember guys, base power levels. Then we also have the Resurrection F Saga top 3. Golden Frieza at 128.7 million, Super Saiyan Blue Goku in second place at 103 million, and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta at third place, 82.4 million. And these are their real power levels. Golden Frieza at 2 quadrillion, Super Saiyan Blue Goku at 1.6 quadrillion, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta at 1.3 quadrillion. So in the Saiyan Saga we were in the thousands, in the Frieza Saga we were in the millions, in the Cell Saga we were in the billions, in the Buu Saga we were in the trillions, in the God of Destruction Beerus Saga we stayed in the trillions, and now finally in Resurrection F we have come to the quadrillions. Thank you so much for watching guys. I'm really sorry about the previous videos, but I am going to be remaking them. Next video that will come out is the Universe 6 Tournament Saga, after which I will do the Future Trunks Saga and the Tournament of Power Saga. Let's go. Stay tuned, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.